All right. Thank you everyone for coming. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Show the roll call to show everybody from council is present. Do we have any additions to the agenda?
Acting Mayor, Musician, members of the council, can I move 8.1 RCMP quarterly report up to just before finance? And for in closed session, I would like to move 16.2 to 16.4 and have 16.2 cottage land under FOIP section 25, 16.3 legal opinion, section 17 of the FOIP Act.
I'd like to make a couple of additions if I could, please. 16.5, we call it intergovernmental relations under section 24. An additional one for, we'll call it, I don't know, 6.3, call it personal. Thank you.
Would that be 16.6?
Personnel under 6 is minutes, so would it be under another section, Councillor Sandal?
If you want, you can put it under 9.3.
Thank you.
Councillor Harris?
Thank you. I have, under new business, bylaw 1-25. Old business, well, wait, we'll do new business first. Audit clarification. Municipal corporation. Amendments to the CAO bylaw. Citizen engagement. Town vandalism and theft. Am I going too fast, Ms. Pennell?
Nope.
I'm good?
Just be short on my end.
Okay, and under old business, backtrack and follow up with the backtrack, please. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Actually, I think Eric's already grabbed it, yep.
What the,
No, not yours.
okay.
Anything else relating to the agenda? All right, can I get a motion
I'll make the motion.
to accept as amended? Okay. Any questions? All in favor? All right, adoption of the minutes, 6.1, regular meeting of council. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes of the regular meeting of council on March the 12th as presented.
Thank you. Any omissions, deletions, questions? Oh,
Oh, wait, to the, are we gonna do the minutes separately?
yes.
Okay.
All right. Seeing none, all in favor? All right. Whoa.
Sorry.
Adoption of the minutes, 6.2, special meeting of council, March 13th. Can I get a motion? Councillor Harris?
Oh no, somebody else can make the motion. I have a amendment.
I'll make a motion to approve the special meeting of council March 13th, 2025.
Thank you. Any questions, omissions? Councillor Harris?
Thank you. I notice here that, in the minutes, it indicates that I arrived at 3:33 PM, which is just shortly after the, 1 minute after the meeting started. And it indicates that I left the meeting at 4:03. A couple of things. It does not indicate that I was asked to leave the meeting. Which is true, correct?
I don't know what, because it was in closed session, I'm not exactly sure what we're allowed to put, actually.
As long as nothing is revealed on the topic that was discussed, council can choose to amend the minutes.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I would like them to reflect that I was directed to leave the meeting. I would also like to request, well, Ms. Pinot, perhaps you can help me out with this one. I was I had the understanding that I was to be called back in for the remainder of the items on the agenda.
Council can answer that question?
Yeah, you were, and as a matter of fact, Councilor Kozak and I went out looking for you and couldn't find you.
Oh, nobody has my phone number?
We
You
went out,
texted me the 2
we
days
went out looking
before.
we went out looking for you and we couldn't find you, we assumed you didn't want to stay.
Nobody thought of sending me an email or a text or phoning me?
No.
Then I would like that reflected as well. Please, in
And-
some fashion.
No, we can't actually indicate that in the minutes. The minutes are just the actions that happened during the meeting. So the fact that council didn't call you to come back, I can't reflect that in the minutes.
Well, I was asked to leave the meeting. And
You were
then-
also told that you were welcome to come back after that one topic was
Well,
finished.
I realize that, but, I mean, that's a pretty poor excuse that you didn't bother to phone me or text me.
I'm not
I-
sure why
I
you left the
could-
property.
Pardon?
I'm not sure why you left the property.
I think that's irrelevant. I could have had to run home to let my dog out. I could have had a family emergency.
You
I
didn't
could
know
have
you were
been,
you didn't know you were leaving the meeting. You were supposed to be here the whole time. That was the intent.
okay, well then, I would like it, reflected that I was directed to leave the meeting.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor?
We'll need an amendment to that then.
Oh.
If we're amending the minutes, we're going to need a motion that reflects the minutes were amended, not as presented.
Sorry, who made,
I'll correct my motion to reflect that I vote for, or pardon me, pass the corrected meeting minutes of March 13th, 2025.
Acting Mayor Yushish, and I do have one other question, if you don't mind. I see that the motions, there were motions for the audit as discussed, to proceed with the audit as discussed. Can there be a little bit more detail with that?
no, because it was in closed session.
Our audit is public information.
The item was discussed in closed session and nothing else has been done with that item yet.
Okay, and then 4.3, the counselor sanctions. I believe that one was pertaining to me and another counselor.
Again, because those items were discussed in closed session, they can only be discussed in closed session.
Okay, very good.
Anything else? All right, all in favor? All right. Think this would be 7.1? 8.1, we're just moving it up. Okay, so Sergeant Febraro, please come forward.
Thanks for having me today. Unfortunately, Staff Sergeant McGonigal couldn't make it. He had other prior engagements, so I'm next in line, so I'm here presented to you, gentlemen. Okay, so this is going to be our third quarter report, and it's obviously, it's just to provide an update as to what's been going on and what's been happening. So obviously, for the jurisdiction, the Morinville RCMP detachment provides 24-hour policing services to several municipalities and communities, which include Alexander First Nation, the Sturgeon County, most of it, Town of Bonnecourt, Town of Gibbons, Town of Legal, and Town of Morinville. Our priorities for this current fiscal year have been crime reduction, enhanced awareness and education, employee wellness and respect, and enhanced road safety. Coming up on April 1st is going to be our new fiscal year, so Staff Sergeant McGonigal and I are currently working on our new priorities. It looks like we're going to be kind of, obviously we've had, well, I haven't, but our Staff Sergeant McGonigal has had conversations with Town of Gibbons. So every municipality that we do police, we have taken that into account, and we're trying to actually create a new outlook with initiatives that will better serve the communities. The current human resources at our detachment is 1 staff sergeant, 1 sergeant myself, 5 corporals. We have 18 constables, including a school resource officer. We have 4 public service employees, 4 town of Morinville full-time employees, 5 town of Morinville casual employees, and 1 reservist constable. Our officers are supported by the Central Alberta Regional Victim Serving Society, which is 9 in total, and 5 guards. As of January, we did have Constable Fontana. He transferred in from Château, so he's currently with us. As of April 2nd, we will have another member transferring in from High Prairie, Constable Phil Perron-Boulet. We have Corporal Kevin England coming from BC, and he'll be starting probably by the end of April. Constable Stephen, he got promoted to Parkland Detachment, so he'll be leaving our detachment. We currently have 2 members on pat leave and 2 members that are on sick leave. For a snapshot over the 3rd quarter for the town of Gibbons, we did have an increase compared to the previous year of spousal abuse. So we had 9 files that we had calls of service for compared to 7. Under the Mental Health Act, we had 4 compared to 6. RPACT referrals, which relates to Mental Health Act, we had 0 this quarter as to 2 as the previous quarter. Break and enter into residential, we had 0. Break and enter commercial, we had 4, so that is up 2 from the previous year to date. Theft of vehicles, we had 4. Frauds, we had 6, and we are aware that frauds is still a prominent issue in many of the communities that we serve. We have been going around, excuse me, trying to educate, especially elderly individuals, as there are a lot of phone scams that do occur, and it seems like each month or every second month there's something new that's popping up. Suspicious persons, we had 12 for the quarter, and vandalism, we had 6 for the quarter. So the total RCMP calls for service for the town of Gibbons was 100, so 155 for the, that should be quarter 3. So 155 files or calls of service for the quarter. The previous one was 184, so we did see a decrease. Year to date, so that's again the start of our fiscal year is April 1st to the end of the 3rd quarter, we had 472. And compared to the previous year for that year-to-date comparison, we're just slightly down a few calls of service there. So some notable investigations, that's actually throughout our whole policing area. I know Staff Sergeant McGonigal, compared to the previous detachment commander, we're trying to find new ways to get out to the public of what we're actually doing, the arrests we're making, the work that we've been doing. I know we did lose recently one avenue of news to get some of the information out. So now what we're going to be starting is some of these, for these quarter updates, we are going to do notable investigations of things that we have been doing, just so everyone is aware that we're just not sitting having coffee inside the office. So September 4th, we had a 35-year-old female arrested for a residential break and enter near Highway 643, and the suspect was identified through video surveillance. September 8th, a 39-year-old male arrested for possession of stolen vehicle on Highway 28 near Gibbons. Member located suspicious vehicle during a late night proactive patrol. September 12th, a 15-year-old boy and 12-year-old boy were arrested by members on Highway 28 in possession of a vehicle that had been stolen after a carjacking in Edmonton. Knives were seized and multiple charges laid for violating previous release conditions. On the 13th of September, a 49-year-old male arrested in possession of stolen vehicle and drugs near Highway 261. The driver fled from police and arrested with assistance from the police dog and air services. September 22nd, a 39-year-old male and 36-year-old female were arrested at commercial break and enter in progress near Range Road 234 as an alarm. Suspects fled from police but arrested with assistance from air services. September 25th, 41-year-old male arrested intoxicated with a knife on Alexander First Nation, threatening officers to shoot him. Members managed to arrest using OC spray and our taser. On November 1st, residential break-in to a garage near Range Road 261. Suspect identified through fingerprints and charges are currently pending. November 5th, 17-year-old boy arrested for stealing vehicle from residents in Mornville, and he was identified through surveillance. November 16th, 22-year-old male arrested at a residence near Range Road 261 in possession of vehicle stolen from Mornville earlier that day. He was reported by a third party. He was convicted and actually sentenced to 60 days in custody. November 19th, a 28-year-old male arrested on Highway 28 in possession of a vehicle stolen from Mornville, located during a proactive patrol, and suspect attempted to flee, but arrested using the use of a spike belt. On December 13th, 38-year-old male arrested after theft of vehicle near Range Road 252 as part of ongoing police investigation into recent auto thefts, sentenced to 135 days in custody. December 17th, 45-year-old male and 47-year-old male arrested shortly after commercial break and enter and theft of two vehicles near Range Road 254. Vehicles were equipped with GPS security systems. On December 27th, 46-year-old male arrested soon after fleeing police who were proactively patrolling commercial properties in the Bonnecourt area. 13 total charges against the suspect, including failing to comply with release conditions, resisting arrest, assaulting a police officer, and illegal possession of several firearms, including a pump-action shotgun. And December 27th, 29-year-old male and 26-year-old female arrested after $16,000 worth in tools were stolen from a trailer near Township Road 544. Search warrant was later executed, resulting in recovery of property and further arrests. Our current community engagement, we do meet with our Surgeon Rural Crime Watch meetings. We have a COPA presentation on November 6th. We have our School Resource Officer Program. We have our 25 RCMP school liaisons. Each member is assigned to a school, including in Gibbons area. And I believe it's May 1st, we are starting our Sturgeon Regional Positive Ticketing Program. So that will be coming into effect on May 1st. Any questions? That was a quick snapshot.
All right, thank you so much, Sergeant February. Any questions? Councilor Malante.
Maybe just describe what positive ticketing means, because some people might think positive as a negative.
Yeah, I should do that. So this was kind of the idea of Staff Sergeant McGonigal. There's a lot of good that's being done, especially with our youth in the communities. And so within the county, we partnered with many different agencies where if members are on patrols in the communities and we see a youth doing something mostly geared towards youth, doing, say, crossing the street with a bike or doing something that's positive, they just go up and talk to them and give them kind of like a ticket. So it's going to be a coupon for, say, I don't know exactly where they are coupons for, but I believe the idea was maybe A&W, Dairy Queen, different little things for the youth or other individuals to be like, you know what, hey, thanks for doing a good job, keep it up, here you go. Just kind of put more of a positive spin on our outlook when we were actually just in the communities, not in a negative way.
Awesome. Any other questions? Councilor Berry.
I've made this comment before, and apologies to those people who don't want to hear it again. But I find it very concerning, the level of spousal abuse that we're seeing. What I see here is year-to-date, April 1st to December 31st, I believe that's the end of 2024. There have been 22 incidents. I find that a little shocking. And once again, I encourage our Community Services Department to do whatever they can to educate so that hopefully can be remedied. That's it.
Anyone else? All right, well, Sergeant February, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Can I get a motion for information? Councilor Malante.
Motion for information, thank you.
All in favor? All right, Finance 7.1. Accounts paid as of March 21st. Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Councillor Kozak. Any questions? Councillor Harris.
Thank you. Sorry. First page, top of it, Amelia Enterprises. I do recall that I asked that a couple of years ago. Could I just have a refresher of what that is, please?
Acting Mayor Nutrition, Members Councilor, Councilor Harris, that is our recreation and event software we use for all the residents in town to register for any of our programs.
Okay. Would that not be included with the Trinus charge?
That is a separate service completely. They have nothing to do with Amelia.
Okay, thank you. Which brings us down to Trinus. A few months ago, I asked Mr. O'Malley what the drastic increase was related to for our IT services. And, you know, what we were provided were sort of just the terms of the agreement, which didn't really explain why this charge has pretty much, it's 3 times as much. So could I get a little bit of clarification for council's information as to maybe a little bit more in-depth explanation of why we pay $10,500 a month for IT when we used to pay under $4,000?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, it was explained by
Yeah.
CAO O'Malley that previous to that increase, it was just, Trinus was just worrying about this building and maybe one other, whereas it got expanded to all of the town buildings in town. So we
Okay.
did expand the scope of what they were doing.
No,
That is
that's
correct.
okay.
Yes,
Is that
that is correct.
That is correct.
Thank you.
what was being used in the other buildings then?
They were not attached to the town server. And now everybody is on the town server, the arena, the GCC, the GFRC, the fire hall, and Public Works.
So which weren't included? Those, I mean,
None of
those
them
just
were.
seem like quite important buildings and,
They were not included with the admin building prior to this.
okay, so what were we using for them?
I have no idea. They were not on the server.
If I may, yes, so they had computers and items, not everyone, but if you wanted to have anything saved, they'd have to come use a computer at this office to do it. Now they have access from those actual offices to save and to have everything put forward onto the server, so they didn't have to come into this building if they wanted it securely saved on our server.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Okay, the Brownlee charge on page 2 of 4, was that just one matter or were there multiple matters? $3,720.89. Just one matter?
I believe there was more than one matter on that one, Councillor Harris and Mayor and Council.
Okay. Select engineering, same page. What are we paying the general engineering for $1,878 for? What are they engineering? I mean, it says
Mayor,
Memorial Park,
Nutrition.
so,
Yeah, it's Memorial Park, Councilor Harris.
well,
We're
that's,
starting the project there, and they got to get the engineering, and we're starting to look at tendering out the equipment for it and everything as it goes through them.
okay, but there are 2 checks, one for 1883 and one for 1878. The 1878 says, general engineering, and the 1883 says Memorial Park Development, so.
General engineering I'd have to look into, but it could be of various things, or sewer, or water, or depending on what we're talking to them about. We'd have to get the invoice and break it down. We'll
Okay.
get back to you on that.
Could you follow up with that,
Yes,
please,
yeah.
next? Thank you. Fort Saskatchewan Reno Incorporated, remove the floor in front where for $4,095.
Acting Mayor, Eustachian, members of council, we had a tripping hazard and issue of warping at the GFRC floor, so we had to rip it out and get part of it redone.
Okay, very good. Thank you. That's it. Thank you.
Any other questions? I apologize, can't remember who put the motion forward, but can we get an amended motion to have CAO Lowe follow up on that one item? Who was it that made that motion? Ms. Pino?
Councillor Kozak made that motion.
So I'll make the amendment.
Okay. All in favor? All right, 7.2, debt limit and outstanding loans.
Monique, go ahead.
Acting Mayor Eustachian, members of council, the purpose of this report is to respectfully request that council review the attached report. It indicates the debt limit calculator provided by the Government of Alberta and the listing of the loans outstanding, their expiry date, and the amount as of March 12th. The debt limit is $17,797,131. The loans outstanding is $14,475,797.28, with a debt limit remaining of $3,321,033.72. And these calculations include all of the loans, including the lines of credit and the vac truck.
All right, can I get a motion for information?
I'll move to accept this as information.
All right, questions? Councillor Harris?
Thank you. I noticed that, I just would like a little bit of explanation. We did, I think borrowing bylaw 1-25, and it indicated that the debt amount at the end of December was $7 million, I believe. And, yep, because I was asking how we paid down from 14 of February, in February 2024 to 7 at the end of December 2024. And now it's indicating that we sit at 14 million with a debt, a debt limit remaining of 3.3.
Councillor Harris, I'm unsure as to where the 14 million, the 7 million is what is on the books as of December 31st, and I verified that with the auditors. The 4,412,000 is indicated on the last page. Those are the two lines of credit and the equipment loan. And then the 2.5 million is what was borrowed in January, and then the vac truck is 303,320, which brings a total to 14,475,797.28.
Oh, I see. So just so that I can be clear. The second, or the first page, 1 of 4, part 1, as of December 31st, it says 7.2 mil, and the principal balance outstanding on all other borrowing is 4.4. What is all other borrowing?
Page 4 of 4. The two lines of credit and the equipment loan.
Okay, can you tell me what the equipment loan,
I believe that was the fire truck.
okay. But the fire truck was done like a year ago.
Fire truck was done in December.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm a little confused when short-term borrowing bylaw 1-25 was presented. It indicated to, well, me, I guess, that the debt, amount, the total amount of debt at the end of December 31st was 7 million. And I guess, like, you know, what I'm seeing here is that the $2.5 million that we borrowed in January is included in here. This is just very confusing. And yet you're citing December 31st as of having $14 million?
No, December 31st is $7,259,801.95.
Okay,
The other loans at the credit union is $4,675,675.33,
okay.
for a total of $11,672,477.28.
Good, thank you for the
Then you add the 2.5 million,
Yep,
then you add the vac truck,
good,
for a
okay.
total of $14,475,797.28.
Oh, okay, now, the vac truck was not ALT 1-25.
My error.
Okay, so where, cause was 1-25 not $2.5 million?
You are correct. My error, my apologies.
Okay, so perhaps that should be amended. Noted and amended. Is there a notation here for how much, interest that we pay?
If you look on the
Yeah.
second part of it,
Yeah,
the interest will be in the budget. I don't have that figure off the top of my head.
okay. I guess this is, you know, unless you're in the capacity of somebody who works in administration, it's a little bit confusing, because here I'm looking at part 3. It says total payments of principal and interest on borrowing as of December 31st, 24, required to be paid to the province January 1st and December 31st, 25 is 1.7 million. Is that an interest payment, or is that the interest that we're responsible for paying? $1.7 million a year?
If I'm not mistaken, it says right on there, total payments of principal and interest.
Okay, well, I that's why I'm asking for clarification. I would like to know how much interest we're paying on the debt that we have outstanding. And I mean, oh,
The interest, I'm unsure, but the debt and the principal, total debt calculation as of March 12th. So it would be 1.7 and then 485,952 for a total of 2,213,948.65.
okay, at the bottom of page 2 of 4 says total service on debt for calculation of service on debt limit as at March 12th is $2.2 million. What is that?
That's the principal and interest that needs to be paid.
Well, isn't the servicing on the debt the interest, if I'm not mistaken?
And the principal.
But this just says service on debt for calculation. And and just above that as well, it says annual payment for principal and interest payable on the debt issue under bylaw 1-25, that there's no number in that column.
I'm sorry, I have no answer. I filled this out and it's verified by our accountant.
I'm sorry, the rest of council may find that answer acceptable, but I don't. The fact that there is an empty column indicating the annual payment of principal and interest payable on the debt issued under bylaw 1-25, the fact that it's not there is concerning. And if we have an accountant and yourself going through these numbers and nobody can answer those questions, any other counselor want to back me up with that one? Because
All I can say is that if Pardon me, if you look underneath, it says, click here for a loan calculator, generate an estimated annual payment. So I'm not sure what further questions could be asked.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, Counselor Sandal, I can't click on a piece of paper. So I don't have that, number that one should be able to click on, but thank you. So, Jay, Counselor.
So with that, it seems like there's some questions that need to be clarified, but I don't know if we can get that answer today. Is there any way that we can bring it back to administration to answer those questions?
Perhaps we should maybe table this for some correction or additions.
I don't think we necessarily need to table it personally, because this isn't this is a report that is gonna get updated on a regular basis for us. So the next time we can get it, which potentially could be the next meeting, it would be updated.
Well, Acting Mayor Gutierrez, how will we know what to compare it with? Frankly, that's irresponsible, but I'm with
I'm not-
Councilor Malante.
Okay. Can I get an amended, sorry, Councilor Berry?
I'd like to call the question.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I get an amended?
I'd like a recorded vote,
Agenda,
please.
or sorry, an amended motion, for a potential follow-up at the next meeting, to see if we can have updated numbers by then.
So you have a motion on the floor, so Counselor Berry's called the question, so you either vote on that
Vote on
question.
that one.
And then you can make another motion, for administration to bring the report back to you. If the motion gets defeated, if it's carried as information.
Thank you. All right, so the first motion would be, we already have the
That
motion
we
for
accept this
information.
report as information.
Okay,
I'd like a recorded vote, please.
all in favor? Opposed?
No, the other.
It's
A tie
3-3,
vote,
so it
council,
was
so it's a
defeated.
defeated motion.
Okay, so can I get an updated motion then, please?
Put that one down. So I'd like to provide for an updated motion to bring back administration, to bring back information regarding the questions and concerns that we've brought up regarding more information on the debt limit as well as the interest. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Councilor Harris, thank you.
thank you.
All right. Any other questions on that?
Can I get Chris to read back the motion?
Counselor Malante moved to direct administration to provide more information to council on the debt limit and interest due.
All right, all in favor?
Recorded, please.
Opposed? All right. 9.1, policing priorities.
Acting Mayor Yusish, members of council, the purpose of this report is to respectfully request council provide Staff Sergeant McGillney with directions of what it sees as priorities for the RCMP to focus on for 2025-2026 fiscal year. Administration would like to respectfully request council consider the following recommendation, that council provide administration with direction as to what council would like to see the 3 priorities over the next fiscal year.
Thank you. Does anybody want to make a motion as to what the priorities could be? Councilor Berry?
I move that the town of Gibbons maintain the 3 priorities that they have previously identified, those being crime reduction, community engagement, and traffic safety.
All right, any questions? Oh, Councilor Malante?
Wouldn't you want to include traffic safety and employee wellness? Because that was part of the thing. It wasn't just traffic safety. So it'd be employee wellness as well.
So council in the past has made more than 3 options that are presented. So I took it over the last few years, and those are the priorities that council gave. So typically, they're only looking for 3 from us. So if I put in that you guys want crime reduction, community engagement, traffic safety, and employee wellness. That's 4 options. So can we get that narrowed down to 3, or?
I think the original was just the 3, not including employee wellness. And my opinion on this, the employee wellness is great for the detachment to have as an internal priority, but maybe not a community one. Anybody have concerns over that? Anybody have concerns leaving it at just the 3? All right, all in favor? 9.2, employee non-disclosure agreement.
Acting Mayor Yushishин, members of the council, the purpose of this report is to respectfully request council give consideration to the information provided by administration surrounding confidentiality contracts and municipal code of ethics. The options for consideration by council include the following: the council advise administration how it would like to proceed. Recommendation for action: administration would like to respectfully request council consider the following recommendation. The council provide administration how it would like to proceed.
Can I get a motion? Councilor Kozak. Any questions? Councilor Harris?
Thank you. So where it says I and then the individual's name would be, in that line, and then employee, I would like to add, contract companies and personnel in there as well. Cause we do have some contract employees. And their personnel is what I'm recommending.
Sorry, can we just back up 1 second? Because
Yeah.
Councillor Kozak made a motion, but the motion that administration provided was just that council would advise. So if you're going to accept it as presented, or like, you didn't actually make a motion.
Sorry, you're right.
Make the motion to advise.
No. What are we?
You either accept as presented, or you're going to accept as amended, but no amendments technically have been made yet, so you need to make a motion to either accept it as presented or not.
So why don't we have the motion to accept as presented? We'll have our discussion.
Have your discussion, and then if the amendments go through, you can make a friendly amendment.
Okay,
I'll make the motion as advised.
To accept as presented.
Yeah, to,
Okay,
okay.
so then Councilor Harris, your comment about adding contract employee.
Yeah, and their personnel.
I'm almost wondering, could we change it instead of specifying, just put representative of the town of Gibbons? Because in theory, we could then include council on that.
But we don't have to, we shouldn't even be incorporated into this. We have our own, we have our own rules to adhere to. I mean, right? We have a council code of conduct and we have the MGA that indicates that we can't discuss
Absolutely.
confidential information, so,
We just don't have anything official that we're signing relating to that.
well, we have our council code of conduct.
We don't sign that at the start of the term. It's just one of our bylaws.
Well, we can be brought up with sanctions and to the minister if,
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that. I'm just thinking having something in writing and having us sign it is not necessarily a bad thing.
well, why reinvent the wheel? I mean,
Okay.
I don't know.
Councilor Berry.
Just to be clear, what Councillor Harris is suggesting is just adding some words to the confidentiality contract.
Yeah,
So it would read, whatever, employee
And/or
or
contractor.
contractor.
yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
Okay, the other, item that I'd like to bring to council's attention is any information deemed, number 5, any information deemed confidential by council, CAO, or development officer, who would deem that, make the determination on the information? Like,
Just as it says.
well, no, but would it be information, under the MGA and, under the FOIP Act, that type of there, you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. I don't think it's gonna get into that level of detail because it's a generic type, agreement. Anything that we as council, as the CAO decides, or as the development officer decides is confidential. And we could adjust that at any given moment as
Okay.
council.
My concern is that you know, if the CAO or an administrative individual deems something to be confidential, but we don't know what that is, then, right? Do you know what I'm saying? At least if it's under the FOIP, then it is very clear what is deemed confidential. If it's under the MGA, then it's deemed confidential, you know, in-camera items, that type of thing.
Yeah, I think Councillor Harris, to change that to anything under the FOIP Act, because the FOIP Act trumps the MGA. So anything that's listed in the FOIP Act.
But
As-
it should only necessarily be that, because there's only, if I'm not mistaken, there's only two items under FOIP that are must, not may.
There are two that are must.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Right.
The rest of them are shalls, not musts.
Yeah.
So that is up to the municipality, whether or not that can be released based on the FOIP Act.
Right.
I'm sorry, if I may. If I receive a development permit application, it is confidential till it's approved,
Okay.
because it has confidential information
Right.
from the developer.
Yep.
And that's not covered under the FOIP Act. It's just,
Actually, it is. It's land legal labor. Anything land legal labor that would,
Not anymore. It used to be land legal labor.
Okay.
There are now 11 sections of the FOIP Act that we have to go under to check to see whether or not something is able to go in closed session or be confidential.
maybe we should attach this with this document.
Well, the problem with attaching an act to a document is that the act changes from time to time. And so therefore, it's easier on our end to change it to say the most recent
Okay.
current version of the act, and the act is currently under review right now. So be the most current version of the act, and that would cover the act and the suggestion that you're looking for.
I think that's acceptable.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, they're actually removing FOIP and changing it to two
It's splitting it.
different.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
being split into two acts, yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I actually, is the municipal code of conduct included with, like, is this one document on the,
Referring to the Code of Ethics,
yes, pardon me, the code of ethics?
two separate documents.
Okay, but under, so, well, then if it's the municipal code of ethics, again, the counselors shouldn't be on there. We have our own,
Council passed that back in 2015 just as it's listed.
okay. And, well, so is this, this is what we've had before? This is an old,
Councilor Harris, I believe that the Code of Conduct that you're referring to for for counselors, that requirement by the MGA came in after
Right.
this Code of Ethics was established.
well, having said that, then if we've got our own, then take council out of this entirely
Yeah.
now. Right? Because we have our own code of conduct, which is mandated by municipal affairs. So I would suggest that we take out where it says all municipal councilors, take out all municipal councilors and just have employees.
And also include the contractors, I think, in there as well.
Yeah,
How about contracted employment? Because if we list contractors, now we're asking any contractor that we hire to do
I think that makes a lot of sense.
XYZ.
So
would have
contracted employment to the town of
contracted
Phoenix.
employees.
Okay.
sure.
All right, any other questions? All right,
So we have a motion,
we've got a motion to accept as presented.
okay.
But I think now with that, Councillor
Yeah, Councillor Kozak can make a friendly
Can make the
amendment
amendment.
and just change his motion to amended.
Yeah, I'll make the motion change as amended.
All right, all in favor?
Recorded, please.
So that,
Acting Mayor Yushishin, if you could please call opposed. Councillor Harris asked for a recorded vote.
sorry, so opposed? Thank you. So that gives us 9.2, so 9.3, personal, I believe, Councillor Sandal, this was yours.
As per sanctions, I am apologizing to Amber for statements and gestures, and a deeply heartfelt apology to Monique.
Just to follow up, Councillor Sandal, part of the agreement was to have that in writing as well. Do you have that so that we can post it?
Sorry, no.
Okay,
Get it for you.
okay, thank you.
I would like that attached to the agenda package then as well, when that is.
It'll go as part of the minutes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, 9.4, vac truck.
That would be me. Hang on. Did we do the? Nope, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. We were,
Sorry, you did miss a motion to accept Norm's statement as information, please?
You're right, sorry. Motion to accept that. Councillor Malante?
I'll put forward the motion to accept that as information.
Thank you. All in favor?
thank you. A couple of meetings ago, this would be 9.3, correct?
9.4.
Oh, pardon me, 9.4. That administration was going to follow up with some information as to whether or not what the developer was going to be responsible for with regards to paying or somewhat for the vac truck and the services that we have to.
If I'm not mistaken, we discussed that last meeting.
No.
I'm fairly confident we did.
Well,
It was part of the discussion where we approved the borrowing bylaw.
oh, I see. Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay.
We can move along.
New business, 10.1.
Sorry, we'll need a motion to accept as information or
Sorry,
a
Ms.
motion
Pino.
to remove it from the agenda.
I'll remove it from the agenda.
Okay,
Do we have to vote on that?
You
yes.
do because you've already passed the motion to, for the agenda as amended.
Can I make a motion again to amend the agenda? Is that how you do it, or just with the?
No, you just make a motion to remove this from the agenda
Okay.
and then vote on it.
I will make a motion to remove the vac truck information from the agenda.
All in favor? All right. 10.1, Regional EV Charging Network Steering Committee.
Acting Mayor Yushishin, members of the council, the purpose of this report is to respectfully request council that council give consideration to the attached letter from Mayor Robert Bailey from the town of Athabasca. If council administration would like to respectfully request council consider the following recommendation, the council advises administration how it would like to proceed.
Anybody want to make a motion on this one?
I'll make a motion to accept his information.
Okay, any questions? All right, all in favor of accepting his information? 10.2, Recreation Agreement.
Stephanie?
Acting Mayor Yushishin, members of council, this report is to seek approval from the Town of Gibbons Council for the proposed intermunicipal recreation cost-sharing agreement with Sturgeon County for the period of January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2030. This agreement ensures continued collaboration in providing rec services and facilities to residents of both municipalities while establishing clear funding commitments and reporting mechanisms. I will allow you all to have read that since it's been in the package. The recommendation for action is that council approve the intermunicipal recreation cost-sharing agreement with Sturgeon County for the term of January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2030, and authorize the acting mayor and interim chief administrative officer to execute the agreement on behalf of the town.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the recreational agreement.
Any questions? Councillor Harris?
Oh, no,
Oh, Councillor Berry?
I read it all through, and my understanding when I read it is that this is essentially the same agreement we've had previously. However, having said that, when I look through all the appendix, it appears that the reporting back that's being required by Sturgeon County is very heavy. Is this reporting the same as what was being asked of us previously? And then secondly, how burdensome does the staff find all of this reporting? Because it's, just looking at it, it seems excessive.
Acting Mayor Yushishin, members Councillor Berry, we've had a team with all the regional partners working on this agreement and adapting it as we've gone through this past 5 years. The reporting we have found acceptable, and through our systems like our Amelia recreation software, we're a little bit easier able to track these numbers, and we continue to it continues to get a little bit easier. So we're not spending too much time on this reporting. We've agreed that Sturgeon County so far has come with the best option that we've been able to work with at this time. With that being said, we're continually working as a team, and we meet fairly regularly to keep adapting these processes to make sure it's working for everybody in the region.
Thank you.
Councillor Malonte?
With the development of joint working plans with the county, can you highlight some benefits of this for us as the town? Like, what's in it for us? I know it's 60-60 between both of us, but what do we benefit from it?
Acting Mayor Yushishin, members Councillor Malonte. So prior to having this agreement before, I think the amount I'm not going to give you an exact amount, it was just over $100,000 we were receiving. So when we started this agreement that we're currently in, as of this year, Sturgeon County has given us $402,000, $50,000 of that being matching capital funding for our projects. So having this agreement in place has significantly increased the rec funding that they're providing, with the data supporting that Sturgeon County residents are utilizing our facilities, and that's just a fair number going forward. I hope that answers your.
Thank you.
Councillor Harris?
thank you. Considering this is not expected to be signed until January 1st of 2026, what are the thoughts of everybody? Can we leave this until the new council to be signed?
Acting Mayor Yushishin, members Councillor Harris. The concern that we got brought forward in our group is that with the new council and in time of uncertainty, that going forward, especially from the regional partners outside of the county, that they may no longer want to give us any funding. So this would kind of secure that amount at this time if we go into an agreement, right?
Why is this done so early in the year? If it's not required until January 1st, why is it, it's only March?
We received, Sturgeon County has been proactive and very forthcoming with trying to get these agreements in place with their budgeting process. So I believe it went hand in hand with them, and they're driving this. I'll be completely honest.
Well, I highly doubt that Sturgeon County's going to say you get nothing, but okay,
Deal.
Councillor Berry?
Just another question. If I'm correct in how I read it, they will be providing $60,000 for the capital reserve fund. Am I correct in that?
Councillor Barry, yes, so that in this new agreement, we were talking about increasing it from 50 to
50 to
60.
60,
As
okay.
well as, the CPI adjustment, so, as estimated for 2026, we would be looking at about $421,000 from them.
Okay, so is there an increase in the operational portion that they're providing us as well as the capital reserve?
The increase, so it's going with the CPI adjustment and, just within that range that is discussed in here, so not extensive.
You don't have a particular number to give me?
We don't have our 2025 reporting done or anything like that, so
Okay.
everything is estimated at this point, sorry.
So, but it will be increased according to, you said UPI, which is what?
Sorry, the CPI.
CPI.
Adjustment.
Which is
Consumer index.
consumer index?
Yeah, price
Okay,
index.
all right, thank you.
Just one last comment. Considering that it's an election year and that all of us may or may not be here come October, this is quite an extensive agreement, and it's, detailed, and perhaps we could make sure that it is explained thoroughly to the new council. I don't know how we can do that, put it in the handbook or whatnot, even, just to make sure that, because, unless, it's a big one.
I personally have
Sure.
no issue with if it was requested
It's
to present
just
it to new
a
council.
point that I think that it's important to note. I don't read anything in writing or anything right now, just, yeah.
Any other questions? All right, all in favor?
Recorded, please.
Opposed? Thank you. 10.3,
Councillor Harris, I saw your hand go up
Yeah.
twice. Did you?
No, that was, I was in favor.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
10.3, bylaw 1-25.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. 1-25 was the capital, the short-term borrowing bylaw for a capital project, which we took out against the $2.5 million against the arena. I have a couple of questions because, first of all, there was no discussion. I watched the meeting. I was not here during the meeting that this was voted upon. And there was little to no discussion coming out. The bylaw itself was discussed in camera. I don't believe that that's even allowed, to be honest with you. But regardless, if it is, I would like to know a little clarification on what project that we borrowed the $2.5 million for. I also know that the short-term borrowing bylaw for an operational debt that we would be short-term borrowing for operational purposes is 3 years and under. Short-term borrowing for capital purchases is 5 years and under. I do understand that capital funds can be used for operational purposes until such time as the project is ready to go. I would just like to know what project that $2.5 million is essentially going to be used for.
So that discussion happened in closed session?
Nope, doesn't matter. The bylaw is public now.
I'd have to look that up. I don't want to give a yes or no answer.
Can we table that to the next meeting then?
Sure, but I'll table this for the next meeting. That's fine.
Okay. All in favor? Or, no, do we have we don't have a motion yet, do we?
Make a motion to
Council,
table
yeah.
to the next meeting? Okay, very good.
All in favor? Opposed? Didn't think so. Okay. I didn't write numbers, but I think 10.4 audit clarification.
Yeah, thank you. There was, I would just like a little bit of clarification, and I invite council to join me in directing administration to make a final determination as to whether or not an individual councillor can contact the auditor should they have any concerns or questions. Because it's my understanding, I've been here since 2013, that an individual council member can contact the auditor should there be any, to provide any information that they see fit, as opposed for it to be directed by council.
Okay, can we then have a motion for, potentially, Nick to check in with the auditor?
Well, we get an auditor letter every year prior to the beginning of the audit. Have we got that yet? I don't recall offhand. It should be coming right away, if we haven't. Anybody?
As in, okay, but
No, we get a letter from the auditor prior to the beginning of the audit.
I understand that. But
Right.
if you're wondering about the letter, are you asking for in the letter for it to state?
Well, it does state, usually it does state. I sent one as an example from 2020. But, like I said, there had just been some confusion as to whether or not an individual council member can contact the auditor directly should they have any information that they see, deem as important to the auditor.
Okay, so what would you like your motion to be?
Well, have we got the auditor's letter yet?
Councillor Harris, just to interject, two things to note on this. First of all, that the mayor is a spokesperson for the town.
Yep.
And secondly, that council can only move by motion, so direction, and resolution. So if council makes a resolution to allow council members to contact the auditor directly, individually, council has that option. But technically, according to the Municipal Government Act, council can only operate by bylaw and resolution.
What bylaw, or what section of the MGA are you citing? Because I read through the MGA specifically about the audit procedure.
You're one up on me because I have not read that portion.
Okay, well, first of all, has the letter been issued by the auditor yet? Has the audit started?
Acting Mayor Musician and members of council, if you're referring to the audit plan that's been presented to council prior to the auditors have been here, and the audit is proceeding very well. I'm not sure as to, but the audit plan has already been presented to council. It was part of an agenda package a few meetings ago. That's the only letter that I'm aware of that is presented to council prior to the audit. There are letters that are presented after the audit, but that's the only one that is presented to council.
Right,
is
and
the audit plan.
I emailed council within the last couple of weeks an example of one that we received in 2020 that indicated from the auditor as well as Mr. O'Malley, should any members of council have any questions or concerns, to contact the auditor directly. And I'm in case anybody is unaware of the purpose of this, is that if I have some information that I believe is important, but I don't want to share with the rest of council because I have concerns about the confidentiality or the nature of the information that I'm passing on, it should be every council member should have the opportunity to contact the auditor directly. That is what my experience has been since 2013.
My only concern with your comment is you've specifically stated in the past that anything that anybody on council knows, everybody on council should know.
Right? And I did.
And no, you
That's-
just said you wanted to be able to provide information that
Okay.
you would not provide to council.
Well,
You just said that.
acting Mayor Utition, last year I did. I CC'd all of council on every item that
Okay.
well, and I might remind you that it was a council decision not to follow through. And there was, are you you're gonna tell me that when I have a check, when we all received a check that is $20,000 less than what the auditor had reported the year before, that's not important?
I'm not saying that.
Well, clearly it wasn't accepted and directed to the auditor to go.
Do we
Councillor
have a
Gregg?
motion on the table right now?
We don't, actually.
Okay.
Well-
I would request that a motion be
Motion be
made
decided.
or this discussion come to a conclusion.
Is there a motion you'd like?
Well,
to put
I
forward?
think at the beginning of this, I asked, I made a motion for council to join me in requesting some clarification regarding the audit procedures, the council direct contact with the auditor. Direct,
So we're looking for a follow-up from
Follow-up
administration on
at the
what
next meeting.
process would be.
yep,
Is that clear, Ms. Pino?
So I have Councillor Harris move to direct administration to clarify whether an individual councillor can contact the auditor directly.
thank you.
And just for my clarification, that would be checking with the auditor and finding out what their rules, concerns, anything like that would be?
I would say it probably will involve legal as well.
Okay,
Okay, I don't, sure.
all right. All in
I'd
favor?
like a recorded vote,
All
please.
in favor? Opposed? Carried. Municipal corporation.
Thank you. I had also sent an email out requesting some information regarding a municipal corporation. I provided some documentation that that led me to be somewhat confused as to whether or not the town actually has an arm's length municipal corporation created. And Mr. Lowe suggested that I bring it forward to council and make a motion to direct administration to determine whether or not we in fact have a municipal corporation for the town of Gibbons.
Sorry, can you repeat that motion again?
I would like council to direct administration to determine whether or not there has been one or multiple municipal corporations created under the umbrella of the town of Gibbons, or anything of the sort.
Any questions?
No,
Councillor Sandal?
To the best of my recollection, there was some discussion on a municipal corporation during a meeting of probably 2 years ago, but it never progressed any further than just talking about it.
If I can double check too, Mr. Lowe, I believe you answered an email saying you hadn't found anything. Have you since found anything? Or did you continue to look, or should we carry through with the motion?
Acting Mayor Musician, members of council, myself and Ms. Pinot have been going through the drawers there, and we have found nothing to that sort yet. And we still got, how many more? 4.5 drawers to go through.
Well-
So we'll get, as soon as we finish this, we will get back to you if we found anything at all.
Okay,
if I may suggest, Mr. Lowe, perhaps ask Mr. Wetch whether or not he knows anything about it, considering that there is recorded video of Mr. O'Malley indicating that Mr. Wetch was assisting in the creation of our corporation.
Councillor Harris, he'll be here at the next meeting. We can
Oh, great.
ask him there.
Thank you.
Councillor Malante, you had a question or comment?
I think it's good that we put this motion just on the books, just to make sure everything's clear. My question is, it shouldn't be too hard for us to check a corporate check to see if we have one. I know we're looking in all the drawers, but I'm in support of this motion, just to clear the books and make sure there's no second guessing. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? All right, all in,
Recorded vote, please.
all in favor? Opposed? CAO bylaw.
Thank you. I would just like to bring to council's attention I have two. The CAO bylaw was revisited, I believe, in 2023. And I would like to note that section 3.16.0 of the CAO bylaw, I'd like to make a motion to amend that particular note to error section of the CAO bylaw. What it indicates is the CAO can, basically it's expend the cumulative amounts of the operating and capital budget, without having to come forward to to request council's approval. And that is, I'll give you an example. It's based on the municipality's budget. And for example, Sturgeon County, because, gosh, I'm sure that their budget is in the hundreds of millions. And their CAO can spend up to around $500,000 without requesting council's approval. This, what Mr. O'Malley did, that is a blank check. I don't know if any of you have actually read it.
Could I request, at least for me personally, and by all means, anybody else
Yeah.
Have comments, can you make a friendly amendment? You specifically stated one particular section.
Yeah.
I think reviewing the whole bylaw is probably not a bad idea.
Oh, well, sure. Okay,
What I was gonna suggest.
I'd prefer not to just,
yes.
we've got questions, let's go
I
through it
would,
and make sure.
that is a great idea. Okay, I will rescind my, well, no, I didn't
No,
even
you
make
just
a motion. I would like to make a motion that, administration bring forward the current, CAO bylaw and present it for review to council and then follow up at, as, comments or,
Sorry, just one more
Yeah.
question on that.
How about we just make a motion to bring the bylaw forward for review?
sure,
Cool.
okay.
That
Yeah,
sounds good.
no, that's good. Thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor? Citizen engagement.
Okay. Now, Ms. Pinot, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Section 3A of the procedural bylaw says that I can revisit, or a motion can be revisited as long as there are three points in this particular bylaw. It is 3A indicates that a bylaw or a motion can be revisited as long as it's 6 months or for like longer since the last time the motion was made, I believe.
Just looking up the current section,
Yeah.
give me one
Do
moment.
you remember the section?
3A,
3A?
yeah.
So do you remember the main section that it's under?
Yeah,
It's under notice of motion. So you're correct in that. It says it is a motion made or action taken at a meeting held 6 months or more before its reconsideration. But the other part of that would be that only a member of council. Yeah, it says or, then the
It says
B is
or.
or. B is or if it's taken with less than 6 months earlier. But the last part of that is only a member of council who voted with the prevailing side may move to reconsider an item.
I'd like to challenge that then. I mean, what's the point of letting something lapse for a year or two? I mean, the or means or.
There is no or after the B.
There is an or after the A.
That's correct. So it's one or two options on that. It either, if the motion is held 6 months or more before its reconsideration, or
Yeah.
approval for reconsideration of a motion may be made with less than 6 months if there are, it is given 2/3 vote,
Yep.
right? And then the last says, only a member of council. There is no or. Only a member of council who voted with the prevailing side may move to reconsider an item. When a motion is lost on a tie vote, the prevailing side is those who voted against the motion.
I'm not sure what you're gonna argue, because that's how you'll read documents like these.
Well, when there's an or and then two other points after it. Okay, I'll tell you what. I will make a motion to remove this from the agenda for now.
All in favor? Oh,
Last one.
that was your last one.
Nope,
No?
nope.
I'm just writing one down.
Town
Sorry.
vandalism and theft.
Ah, sorry. My apologies.
This'll be, it's come to my attention that the west or the north side, Williams Park, where there is an issue with the screws, has a camera. And from what I understood, Mr. Barak and the residents on the south side have trail cams as well on their property. And I have some questions because I went and looked at the cameras and Mr. Barak and neighbors' yards, and there's no camera in those boxes, and nor is there a camera up at, I have a picture. No camera in all four.
I got a shot looking at
Yeah, and I understand that the camera at Williams Park has been removed as well.
Acting Mayor Yushchin, members of council, yes, Councillor Harris, it has been removed because due to a faulty plug up top on the pole, which was, Curtis has more info on that because he talked to Fortis, so I'll let him explain what happened with that.
Acting Mayor Yushchin, members of council, Councillor Harris. So in talks with Fortis, the plug on the pole is essentially an excuse me, an extension cord that is slowly corroded over time. It's not practical to use anymore.
Okay.
And it's posing a hazard. It's not conducing electricity, and it's not viable. We do have a solar panel on the pole as well, but due to cloudy conditions, time of year, cold weather, the battery in the camera is not viable as well. And it's been creating lots of issues with the viability of the operation of the camera. So I'm in talks with Fortis. We are providing a plug and new conduit and wiring to put a proper power supply on that pole until that time. Until we can provide proper power, the camera is remaining down until we can do some work on that and get that to an operating standard.
Was that camera functional at all?
It's functional as long as the battery lasts, but as soon as there's cloud or anything and cold weather, it's been very unfunctional. We could check it at 10 a.m. It could go down at 10:01. Until the next time we check it, we can't verify the operation of that camera, and we've had lots of issues in the past couple weeks on that.
Okay, well, so have the residents in Williams Park had lots of issues with their tires. So I would like 2 questions answered. Why are there no cameras in that box for the 4 residents on the south side? And what's the plan for the one at Williams Park to replace a camera at Williams Park?
Acting Mayor Yushchin, members of council, Councillor Harris, for the cameras in the box on the south side, I have to look into that. As far as I was aware, there were cameras in those boxes and they were locked. So for that, I am unaware. For the Williams Park camera, we are looking into the options. Fortis should be here hopefully by the end of the week to get the power supply reinstalled. And we'll be reinstalling the camera with proper power once that is done. And we are looking at other options as well for different cameras in that area.
Okay, so can we assure the folks in Williams Park that we'll have a camera there by Monday of next week? Would that be fair?
I can't assure that. I'm at the basis of Fortis on that, but it is going to be done as soon as possible.
Well, my gosh, you guys. We should start paying for people's tires then.
Councillor Harris, I have been in contact with the residents of Williams Park as well. I'm discussing this with them. They have called me and emailed me late at night, and I've gone over it with them and checked things out for them, and have been keeping them updated. The ones that contact me.
Okay, well, they also contact me. That's why I'm sitting here with a picture. And I would like administration to look into that. That's ridiculous. That's all 4 camera boxes with a lock. I can pass this around if you guys want to see it.
Dale, I just remind everyone that we can only instruct administration through a motion. Individual council members are not allowed to.
I would like to make a motion to direct administration to look into the fact that there were no cameras in the 4 residences on the south side backing on to the Tim Hortons 4.5 acre development. Sufficient, Councillor Barry?
Yes, that's sufficient.
Thank you.
Councillor Malante, you had a question?
Yes. Yes, because there's a motion now. Just a question. I'm all for cameras, I'm not against that. That's one of my public safety principles. However, have the RCMP and our Morinville Peace Officer Services been made aware, and this is to administration, to patrol the areas?
Acting Mayor Yusish, members of council, Councilor Malonte, I've been in contact with the RCMP. Any residents who call are directed to fill out an online form. It goes direct to the RCMP. And if I'm not mistaken, the RCMP were out there assisting the residents one day, that they called them, they come out and they were helping them pick up screws. So they have well-versed and trying to keep on it, but you gotta find the person to do that. And unfortunately, if you catch them, what are they gonna get? Slap on the wrist? I don't know.
Depends who catches them.
All right, any other questions? Councilor Sandal?
Yeah, the cameras down by the south side there, were those installed by the town or by
Yes.
private?
By the town.
Any other questions? All right,
I'd like a recorded vote, please.
all in favor? Opposed? All right, 11.1, bylaw ALT 3-25.
Monique?
Acting Mayor Yusish, members of council, the purpose of this report is to request that council give consideration to second and third reading of bylaw ALT 3-25, which is our line of credit bylaw for capital expenditures in the amount of $2.8 million.
Can I get a motion for second reading?
No.
Thank you, Councilor Berry. Any questions?
Yeah, just hold tight.
While she's looking, any other questions? Okay, Councilor Hurst.
Okay, thank you. In the bylaw, it says, rather than liquidating investments. Can I, ask what investments we have to liquidate? Background.
Acting Mayor Yusish, members of council, the investments would also be, we have investments in buildings, we have investments in equipment, we have, that's what investments are.
Do we have land? Have we invested in, do we have money invested in land?
Yes, we do.
Okay. I just, having these lines of credit with no checks and balances, there's no accountability on them whatsoever. So, I mean, they can be maxed for the next 6 months and we not know what goes in and out of them, so. Is there any way that we can make a clause in the bylaw to have regular, accounting?
We're getting the reports on a monthly basis now.
Specifically for the in and out. We have almost $4 million of lines of credit that our previous CAO had complete access to that we had no oversight on. And
Ms. Jeffries, do we have any rules behind how those get used?
For operating accounts, acting Mayor Yusish, they're used if operating funds are low. And then when the funds come in, they get put back. The capital, I could give you a list of what paid for that. And because that's all it was used for, was for capital. It was not for operating.
And that was the 2.8.
That's correct.
Okay.
And the bylaw has been read the first time. So if you're going to make amendments, then you need to, but I have.
now is the time to make amendments, am I not?
Don't usually have, that would be a council instructing administration to provide regular updates on the lines of credit, but they are not part of a bylaw.
Yeah, I agree.
Well,
So I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, approving the bylaw doesn't stop us from adding in another motion requesting additional information on the report for the line of credit.
Well, I just have I have a little bit of an issue, even the way that it's written. Number 6 is the purpose of this bylaw would be for the Town of Gibbons Tax Restructuring Program and the Town of Gibbons Capital Project Plan. I mean, that's pretty vague. I mean, we literally have borrowed from our lines of credit to replenish our grant accounts that have been exhausted.
Excuse me, that is the bylaw that is going to expire.
Yes.
The
I
bylaw
realize
that
that.
you are voting on is bylaw ALT 3-25. There is no section 6 in,
Yes, there is.
Yes, sir.
oh, yes, there is.
Page
I'm
2.
sorry, my apologies. Yeah, there is. And that's what the bylaw was initially set for, was the tax restructuring plan. And then you changed it to make it to capital and tax restructuring plan.
Okay, I'm asking for it to be changed or written in more detail so that we can have some oversight on $2.5 million line of credit.
As I said, indicated earlier, council can make that motion after
Okay.
the bylaw has been adopted. It's not part of a bylaw to have instructions to administration on how to proceed.
Okay, so who made the motion originally?
Councillor Barry did for second reading.
So are you
Yes.
asking for a friendly amendment to include reporting structure in the bylaw?
Again, as Ms. Jeffrey said, we cannot do instruction
So we just
in the
can't.
bylaw. So you either accept second reading or don't. But you need to make a separate motion outside of accepting the bylaw that that administration provide council with detailed information on what the short-term borrowing bylaw is for.
Thank you. Okay.
And I'd like to call the question.
All right, so, motion is second reading for bylaw 3-25. All in favor?
Recorded vote, please.
Opposed? Okay. Let's deal with third reading first. Can I get a motion for third reading?
I'll move third reading of bylaw 3-25.
Questions? All right, all in favor?
Recorded, please.
Opposed? All right, now do we want to add a motion relating to the reporting?
Yeah, I would like to make a motion that council direct administration to give a monthly statement update, detailed, itemized credits and debits from the $2.8 million line of credit under short-term borrowing bylaw 3-25.
Can we expand that to the 1 million? I can't remember the bylaw number.
Sure.
but
Can we make both of them at the same time?
Credits, yeah.
Or, yep.
I guess
Both short-term
Okay,
borrowing.
for both
bylaws.
short-term borrowing bylaws, yes, please.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Recorded, please.
Opposed? All right, policy GA 8425, whistleblower policy.
Acting Mayor, your assistant members of council, purpose of this report is to respectfully request the council consideration to policy GA 84-25 whistleblower policy. Options available for consideration by council include the council approve policy GA 84-25 whistleblower policy as presented. The council advise administration how it would like to proceed.
Can I get a motion? Councilor Berry?
I'll make the motion that council approve the whistleblower policy as presented.
Questions? Councilor Harris?
Thank you. My whole purpose of bringing this policy forward is so that employees could bypass the CAO, ultimately. And so so section 2, for example, it has council, 2.1 says council review allegations of wrongdoing made against, hold on, that's not the part that I wanted to say. allegations, 3.1. Employees have a responsibility to report any wrongdoing which they have knowledge to their supervisor and the CAO, unless it is about the CAO. I would like just to take that entire paragraph out or rephrase it. First of all, if it's it could be a Parks and Rec employee who has 3 levels of supervisory staff ahead of them. But the whole purpose of the whistleblower policy is because that individual may not feel comfortable with anybody else in the town administration knowing, because of fear of reprisal or anything. It's to literally bypass administration and go directly to council. My second suggestion would be that the employee be able to make their complaint in a sealed envelope to any council member they feel comfortable with.
Any other questions or comments? Councillor Barry?
Just that I'm very comfortable with the way it is worded presently.
I do have to say, I'm concerned about removing the power of the CAO's reporting, especially when the MGA requires us to not interfere with operational process.
Well, I would like to table the vote on this then, because I can get you, I can provide, if administration won't provide, other municipalities' whistleblower bylaws, which absolutely bypass the CAO. We experienced it already.
I'm not sure how we've experienced it. They came to us
Exactly.
because they bypassed the CAO.
Exactly.
Because it was about the CAO.
Exactly.
That's what this allows.
Okay, but what I'm saying is that I think that it should be any employee that has any concern about any possible wrongdoing or of the sort in the administration to bring it to council's attention.
Sorry, I understood that reading this, that it comes to council attention through the mayor or deputy mayor.
Unless it's that's only specific if the complaint is about the CAO. But, I mean,
So just to clarify, you're wanting us to receive all concerns and complaints without giving the CAO the opportunity to rectify it?
well, yeah, I am. Especially what we've experienced.
Dale? We have a motion on the floor, and I would like to call the question on that motion.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
All right, any
Oh my,
questions been called? All in favor?
recorded please.
Opposed?
Sorry, employees, I tried.
GAL 3-25, Council Electronic Device Policy.
Acting Mayor Musician, members of council, the purpose of this report is to respectfully request that council give consideration to policy L 3-25 Council Electronic Device Policy. The town of Gibbons does not currently have council electronic device policy, even though the practice of assigning device to members of council has been placed for a number of years. To ensure clear direction for administration and council, administration is putting forward the attached policy for council review. As a new device would need to be purchased for the next incoming council after 2025 municipal election, administration is requesting that this policy come into force at that time. Options available: the council approve policy L 3-25, council electronic device policy. The council advise administration how would they like to proceed.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion, I'll make the motion to approve policy L 3-25.
Questions? Councillor Berry?
Yes, my only question is, why does it not include discussion about the cell phones? It refers only to electronic devices, meaning laptops or computers. It doesn't reference cell phones.
Acting Mayor Musician, members of council, Councillor Berry, when we looked at that, most people have a cell phone now, so we would give them an allowance in there for their cell phone, and they would just get the iPad or laptop, whatever they're getting, because most people, then they don't have to carry two cell phones.
Would new council members or any council member have the option to have a town cell phone? The reason I ask that is right now I do only have one cell phone, and it is the town cell phone.
I'll have to look into that to see if that's in there. If not, we can add that in. It wouldn't be a big deal.
Councillor Harris, you had questions?
Yeah, thank you. Does this, do the staff have, electronic device policy?
Staff, I don't think, has an electronic device policy, but we pay either, you get a cell phone, or we pay them an amount for their use of their own personal cell phone.
Oh, okay, well, maybe we should make it streamline then. With the administration.
I'll withdraw my motion and table it until you can take a look at the cell phone issue and bring it back next time.
Any other questions on that?
No.
Councillor Stadel?
Well, I was just, given your query and stuff, why don't you just make a motion to remove agenda?
I think tabling's fine.
Councillor Berry's motion is fine to withdraw her motion and then make a motion to table it until the next regular meeting of council.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? Bylaw, PLU 1-25, land use bylaw.
Acting Mayor.
Susan?
Right now, we've all been sitting here for 45 hours. Okay, good.
Sorry, Susan.
Apologies.
Good evening, Acting Mayor Musician and Council. This is our new land use bylaw. I'm bringing it forward for first reading and to schedule a public hearing for April 17th, if that works for council. The new bylaw is because the old bylaw was done in 2006, there's been, we're streamlining the process. We're trying to make it easier for residents to do development, more options of what development is available, reduce the number of districts, because currently we have 20 land use districts in town. We're reducing it down to 13. The pages, it's 120 pages long, we're going down to 114. We're just trying to make it easier for people. So right now, it's just first reading and then schedule a public hearing.
All right, so we're gonna need two motions, but the first motion is give first reading to PLU 1-25. Councillor Berry?
Okay, I move that council give first reading to bylaw PLU 1-25 land use bylaw.
No question, any questions? All right, all in favor? Opposed? Sorry, opposed? All good? Can I get a motion for the public hearing? Councillor Malante?
I'd like to put forward the motion that council schedule a public hearing to be held on April 17th at 7 p.m. to be held in council chambers.
So just to clarify, on here it says 15th or 17th. Your preference is the 17th?
The preference is the 17th. Municipal Planning Services was unavailable to attend on the 15th.
Okay, but they would
So-
attend this one.
They will be here on the 17th
Thank you.
to answer any questions.
So my motion stands then.
Absolutely. Any questions? All in favor? All right. Yeah, let's take a 10-minute recess. Meeting back to order. Ms. Pino, let me know when we're good. We're good? Okay. All right, 12.1, administration reports.
Acting Mayor Shishin, members of council, our Rain Barrel program orders are due at the end of the month on March 28th. Our youth center and library have been partnering to host PD Day events, and all of them have been filling up and going wonderfully. We have Coffee with a Cop being held at the Cultural Center on April 2nd from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. I also just wanted to touch on, I'm on the committee for that positive ticketing campaign. Kudos to all the businesses in town. Because of the support from the businesses, it looks like Gibbons will be able to, at the start of this campaign, have approximately 160 tickets available to go out. And that's solely from donations from our businesses supporting this initiative. So just want to shout out for that. I also did just want to touch a little bit on our food bank. So they just did some of their statistics from 2024. And so I just wanted to touch on a little bit of those. They currently serve residents of Bonaccord, Gibbons, Legal, and Sturgeon County. On average in 2024, the clients resided 40% in Gibbons, 33% in Sturgeon County, 16% in Bonaccord, and 11% in Legal. Our food bank continues to be 100% volunteer-led and run organization with 30 active volunteers making it up. They have no long-term sustainable funding and relies 100% on local partners for monetary donations, food, and consumer-donated products. In 2024, they provided 872 hampers to 2,627 people, which is 222 different households, with 678 different people benefiting from the hampers. This is an increase of 38% in the number of hampers from 2023 to 2024. And from the stats just for the first 3 months in 2025, that has also increased by another 19% this year. So I just wanted to bring that the need is high and our food bank is getting used greatly. We appreciate all the donations from the community and just continue to support our food bank that way. Those were just quite alarming numbers, the increases that we're seeing so far.
I'm sorry, could I get you to repeat the percentages of, I know it was 40% Gibbons, 30% Sturgeon County?
Yeah, 40% Gibbons, 33% Sturgeon County, 16% Bonaccord, and 11% Legal.
Thank you.
Can I just ask, or, I know that, occasionally it's put out to the public what, particular items the food bank requires, that are short of or whatnot. I've seen it done occasionally, but perhaps maybe we could put it in the newsletter or, like a monthly type of thing of what the food bank is short of in particular.
Yeah, Acting Mayor Shishin, members of council, Councillor Harris. So we do work so closely and help out our food bank that way with those things. They provide it to us for a newsletter when they're prepared and willing to. So we do that when they can.
Okay, maybe just for, so that we can, like, the community can help them, if we work closely with them, and maybe just mention it, that the town would be prepared to, sort of publicize that information a little bit more on their behalf.
Any communication is good communication. I know that it has been done in the past where there were specific items requested. So I do appreciate that, but I do appreciate that there should be as much communication as we can do.
And the food bank and the GFRC, we are providing a letter to interim CAO Lowe to keep discussions when he's talking with the other communities and CAOs so that we can provide this information to them as well. There's quite a bit of detail here, and they just got a new program that kind of provides this information a little bit more accessibly, so it will help us going forward in the future as well.
Thank you.
Acting Mayor Shishin, members of council, Corporate Services is working on the 2025 operating and capital budgets. And it's being a bit of a task because now we've just been advised that the tariffs will have a significant impact, possibly up to 10% impact on some of our projects and some of the things. that we will be purchasing, so it's, yes, it's a challenge. Continuing with cash flow management, the auditors were in the office on the week of the 17th to the 21st for the 2024 audit, and that went well. And then tax enforcement is also, takes up a lot of time, so that's my report.
Curtis?
Acting Mayor Session, members of council, Public Works for the last, since last meeting, water meter changes as appointments are made and time permits. We started on a new neighborhood, so we're going pretty well through that right now. Stormwater drain clearing as needed. We've had quite a bit of freeze over on some drains, so we're still continually monitoring and working on the water flows there. Equipment maintenance and repairs as necessary. Seasonal equipment changeovers as time permits. That includes just getting some seasonal spring equipment out of storage and getting it ready for the upcoming season.
The new development, you're referring to the one on the west side, right?
Just a new neighborhood.
Yeah,
We're focusing on 44th Avenue
Yeah.
on the north side and 50th Street cul-de-sac for water meter changeouts. No
Oh, no,
new
no,
developments.
I'm talking about the new development, the Miss Gibbons land is,
No, he's not. He's talking a water meter change.
Okay, okay.
The electronic signs.
okay,
Yeah, when he said new neighborhood, they moved
Okay.
the signs from A to B.
got it. Oh, okay, my misunderstanding, thank you.
Acting Mayor Yusish, members of council, fire department, so they went up to 45 calls each, county and town, since I did this report. Our current membership is 25. We had one step down. He has a 2-year-old and his wife is due, and he's busy at work, so fire takes third fiddle. So, as CAO, had a meeting with the appraiser for the cottage land. Met with ATCO Gas for the franchise fees. That'll be coming forward in the near future. Meeting with the Broncos organization. We met with the Edmonton Native Plant Society. They are very interesting ladies, and they have a lot of knowledge and I don't know what the background on what's around and where they do, and they walk all over the place and don't step on their cactus, but they're really interested and really want to preserve what's there. So we had a good discussion with them, myself and Stephanie, so. We met with Susan Berry on the waste programs. Project updates, the Barbarito is opened. I haven't bought one yet, so, but it's open. And the daycare is expected to open very soon. I think they're just waiting for some final inspections.
Councilor Malonte?
Thank you. This is a question to Public Works. I know spring is coming. Hopefully there's no more snow. I wanted to know if there's any plans on doing a review of our sidewalks and potholes.
Acting Mayor Session, members of council, Councilor Malonte, yes, we will be going through sidewalks and roadways. We do pothole repairs as needed on this time of year. We've gone through and I think we're over 100 potholes already throughout town, off the top of my head. And sidewalks we go through, we do a walkthrough and we do a review of what residents give us feedback on for areas. So we have to attack and go after the worst of the worst sidewalks, looking at big cracks, frosties, everything like that. We got limited budgets, so the worst of the worst get done first.
Thank you. I just needed to know that there was work happening. Appreciate that.
Councilor Harris?
Thank you, this is for Mr. Lowe. And the reason why I brought up the CAO bylaw is because in the past, there has been a lack of continuity, lack of communication between the former CAO and council and the rest of administration. And so I have some suggestions in the CAO bylaw going forward, but that doesn't negate the fact that there were commitments that were made to some of the residents, in particular, I'm talking about the residents who back on to the 4.5 acre development there. And I just would like to know what I mean, we can't just say, oops, sorry, you know, the person who made that, that deal isn't here anymore. Sorry about your luck. So what's sort of the plan going forward to alleviate any of the concerns and you know, to see who's paying for what and whatnot going forward? Because that, I mean, that's still an outstanding issue for them.
Acting Mayor, Musician, members of council, Councillor Harris, I have been in contact with the residents over there, and the issues I've been following up on, and the one with the cameras shocked us. So we're gonna be looking into that, but it actually,
Okay.
we knew nothing about this. We had plans to go and remove them as soon as Public Works was available to do it. We talked this week to have that done.
Okay, but
And
I'm,
everything else, I've been in contact with them, I got receipts, the
Yeah.
checks being made, so I've been in contact with them doing these things.
okay, but what about the with respect to the what the developer is responsible for paying for and the administrator or the town is responsible for paying for? I mean, there was information and people were told one thing by our former CAO that I think that we owe them some.
Well, I have been following up on that, and at the suggestion of one resident, I checked with two councillors, and they confirmed that, and I followed through with it. So I can't just pay a bill if somebody says, oh, here's a bill, pay it. I have to make sure that there's some sort of background to it, paperwork trail for our accounting department. So when it comes through, and we send you a bill for, well, how come the town bought X?
Right.
And you'll say, well, what's X? Well, I don't know. I just paid it because they said they had. I have to follow through.
No,
And that's what I'm doing.
No, I realize that, and I think that you're speaking of the request to have their homes washed, the external sections of their houses cleaned and whatnot. I'm talking about who is responsible to pay for the wall, who is responsible for the landscaping, all of that sort of stuff. I mean, you know,
What landscaping are you talking about?
I'm just pulling
Oh.
whatever deal the previous CAO told these folks. I
am working the best I can on that, and as they come in, we deal with them. Myself and Curtis have been involved quite in depth in a lot of this, and we've been working. As soon as they come in, we start looking into them to see what's going on. And I am in contact with the acting mayor on most of this stuff when it happens.
Okay. Well,
Excuse me, can we have the gallery?
okay, we'll continue to monitor this. Thank you.
All right, can I have a motion for information?
I'll move to accept the administration reports as information.
All in favor? All right, so that puts us at committee reports. Councilor Malante, let's start with you.
Sure. March 11th, attended the meeting with Minister McIver, the Minister for Municipal Affairs. March 13th, I had a special meeting, obviously with council, and then March 20th, Sturgeon River Watershed Alliance meeting. So, thank you.
Councilor Berry?
Last night, March 25th, I attended the Gibbons Library Board meeting, and coming out of that meeting, I would like to give you a little bit of an update. I want to take a moment to recognize the efforts of both the Library Board and a community member that has taken on the role of being a community animator with the Rural Mental Health Initiative. The Rural Mental Health Initiative is a provincially funded program that supports small and rural communities in building local capacity to promote mental health and well-being. Through this initiative, Gibbons has received $28,950 in grant funding over the past year to support local programming focused on increasing social connection and enhancing mental health. Thanks to the efforts of our rural mental health animator, Melissa Massey, in partnership with the Gibbons Municipal Library, Gibbons has been able to offer accessible and inclusive activities that create meaningful opportunities for residents to connect with one another. Melissa has taken on this role in a completely volunteer capacity. She is a member of the board, and she has taken on this role. She has done the applications for funding to the Rural Mental Health Initiative, and she has received a large amount of money to support programming in our community for mental health and well-being. And I told her last night, I really value what she's doing. It's totally volunteer, and we're totally benefiting. Over this coming year, the activities that she will be supporting, and the library along with her, is Mental Health Week events in partnership with the Gibbons Family Resource Center, a collection of loanable outdoor recreation items which will be housed at the library, so you can take out things that promote active living, just like you would borrow a book and then you take it back. Monthly programming and activities to support well-being and social connection, library improvements to enhance the community space, and funding to support the library to host events at Hometown Weekend, Pioneer Days, and Meet the Community Night. All programming and events that are funded by the Rural Mental Health Initiative will be provided at no cost to participants. And to learn more, she is suggesting that you keep an eye on the library's Facebook page. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Councillor Sandal.
Sorry, okay. March 11th, I attended a Zoom part with the Minister of Municipal Affairs. March 13th, I was here for a special meeting. March 19th, I attended a Zoom meeting with the Community Futures, which, if anybody's curious, is the, I guess you'd call it the lender of last resort for businesses and stuff that want to start up, and they support entrepreneurs. March 24th, I attended the Water Commission meeting. Thank you.
March 14th, the 408 Squadron event at the Garrison, and March 20th, Stony Plain, Spruce Grove, Parkland County, State of the Region.
We caught that at the last meeting.
Yeah, it was the last council.
Yeah.
It was recorded on that.
It was the day before our meeting.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's,
Okay. Councillor Harris.
nope, I have nothing to report.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we report on our special meeting, but I attended the special meeting on the 13th. All right, can I get a motion for information? Councillor Malante?
Motion for information.
All right, all in favor? Ms. Pino, we don't actually do the correspondence. That's just there to read.
You'll need a motion to accept, but you can accept all the correspondence at once.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept the correspondence.
All in favor?
Sorry, the only thing is that Edmonton Global, as I should have asked this before, but anyway, Edmonton Global had a manager by the name of Malcolm Bruce, and he's retired, so they're hiring a new CAO.
All right, with that,
Acting Mayor Yushushin, can I make a suggestion before you go into closed session? That you make a motion to extend your council meeting.
I
There's
was
quite a number
gonna
of
ask about
events,
that, yep.
items on that portion of the meeting.
do we have to identify the specified time?
Yeah, I would over-specify what you think you're gonna need. It would be better to do that than to have to come out of closed session to extend the meeting again.
Okay.
So, however, I would suggest
Don't
it.
want to go 2 hours, but let's go.
I'll make a motion to extend the meeting till midnight.
Okay. Oh, man. All right, all in favor? All in favor? Opposed? Oh, I'm hoping it's not midnight.
Well, it's just,
Yeah. Okay, so with that then, can I get a motion to move us into closed session? Councilor Berry?
I move we move into closed session.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.
Jake, can I get a motion on that?
Yeah, I'll move 16.1 for information.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry. Sorry, you're right. I'll move to table 16.1 to the next meeting.
Until Acting Mayor Yushishin can have a discussion with Sturgeon Regional Partnership?
Oh,
Yes, please.
yes, pardon me, until, yeah, you got it right.
Thank you. All right, all in favor? Okay, 16.2 cottage lands.
Do we have to, like?
It was the motion that was on here.
I'll make a motion that council set the asking price for the cottage land at $625,000 with any offer below the set reserve price must come back to the council for approval.
All in favor? 16.3 legal opinion for information.
I'll make a motion to accept this information.
All in favor? 16.4, there's gonna be two motions coming out of this one. Ms. Pino? Jay, can you do the first one?
So would we call that 16.4A?
4A.
I want to put forward the motion to table discussion for more information.
So this one you can't vote on. All in
Actually,
favor?
actually, I want to be more specific for more information for the next meeting.
Oh, and we also have to assign Willis. No, we don't.
No,
We
we
don't
don't.
anymore. Never mind. You're right.
Council,
Yep.
okay, so did you get all that, Chris, or do you want me to repeat it?
Councillor Malante moved to table this item until more information can be gathered.
For council for the next meeting.
Yep.
Do I vote on this? I'm gonna recuse
No.
myself just in case.
Yeah, this one you don't, because you weren't in here for the discussion. All in favor? Okay, and 16.4B. Oh, that was the directing me for investigation.
I'll direct acting Mayor Yushishin to investigate it, as discussed.
Okay. Norm, you gotta recuse yourself on this one because you weren't in here for it, so all in favor? 16.5, information.
I'll move that as information from the Water Commission.
All in favor? We're adjourned.